Hello everyone and welcome. It is July and Christmas in July is going to continue with this design. So we're doing another arrangement today, but this time we're going to do sort of a rustic winter or holiday arrangement using these fun little antler picks. These are the star of our show. So this is the design we're going to be creating today. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and drop you down and let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome. Today we are going to be doing another Christmas winter design because it's July and it's Christmas in July and I can't help myself. So we're just going to do another one. So I'm super excited. This is going to be a rustic design. The star of our show is going to be these fun little antler picks that we have. And so we're just going to be starting this arrangement with this little wooden dough bowl. This is like an 8-inch dough bowl, I believe. Let me just confirm. Actually, it's about, well, the inside is 8, like this inside part that we're going to be designing or that the foam is in is 8, but it's actually about 9.5 inches long. So I've already sprayed this with some of my gaps and cracks. You can use floral foam if you prefer. And then I just covered it up with some moss. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be using our pine spray here. This will be the first element that we're going to get added. I'm going to go ahead and cut up 2 of these. Actually, this is probably about 1.5. This one looks like I've used a few pieces off of it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off about 1.5 of these. And then we'll see if we need more. But this is what we're going to use to get started. I'm going to create a little bit of length by having them sort of come out the side. This is going to be my front, although it'll be, designed all the way around, but I'm going to call this my front. The next thing I'm going to go in now is with this juniper spray. So I'm just using probably 2 of these, but we'll see. I'm just going to pull some of this apart. Now I'm moving a little fast. We do have our private design group open where I will go a little slower and talk about more of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So if you are interested in more detailed instructions, especially as we get into the holiday and all the holiday designs, we would love to have you over in our private group. There is some information about that down in the description of the video. So I would love to have you check that out. I'm going to get a few of these pieces added in here. Actually, this one, I don't need to pick on it. Let me cut that off. I don't want it too tall. Going in the center with this one. Now I'm just going to take a couple of the smaller pieces and just put a pick on them. And sort of get these added in between our pine. And we are going to probably need 2 of these juniper sprays to give it the coverage that I want. Now you could probably get away with 1 if you're trying to keep the cost down a little bit more. But I'm going to have mine a little bit fuller. So you can see this one is doing a lot, but I'm going to go in with 2. So it just depends on what your budget is or what the customer's budget is to whether or not you just make it work with 1. But you know me, if you've watched my designs, I typically am more and more, and I like to add a lot of product in my designs. So, okay, let me get this last little section done here, and then we're going to open up another one. I may wait on the other one until after we get some more elements added, and then we can fill it in. Okay, I want to add the stars of our show now. We've got a good little green base going, so we're going to add these antlers. And let me cut them down because I don't need them quite that long. Let me see how tall I want them. Actually, I think I'm going to bring this one just a hair down. I'm going to make it a little shorter than the other one. There we go. Just a little bit. It's not too much. So I'm going to hit that with some glue. Aren't these fun? They're just made of plastic. They're not real, don't worry. Made of plastic. So these are be perfect in, let me raise the view up just a minute, or just a little bit, so give me just a minute. There you go. Now you can see a little bit more. So these would be perfect in rustic designs, whether it be a wreath or arrangements. I'm going to use them in quite a few different woodland rustic type arrangements this season, I think. So I'm going to let me see if I can move this one just a hair that way. Okay. Let that glue do its thing. They're a little weighty, so make sure you use a good amount of glue. Okay, I also have this spray that we're going to be adding. I think, let me get a couple pieces in here. And then I'm going to save the rest for after we get our florals added. But I do want to add a couple pieces. I think this is our cedar. Our cedar spray. I love adding these. This is one of my favorites for the winter and holiday designs. So we had it last year as well. But it's very realistic looking, and it adds a nice little texture to your arrangements. So I'm just taking a couple pieces and putting them together, and then putting them on a pick. Florals added, and then we'll add some more of that. So I have one of these red begonia bushes, or like a partial, and so I thought let's use it up and let's get just a couple of pieces of red in here. I brought in some berries, some red berries as well. I thought maybe we can add just a pop of the red in here with these flowers. And then I also have these beautiful sort of snowy peonies. So we're going to add those. So most of this design does not have really any flocking or snow in it. This is really going to be our only piece. So if you didn't want to use a flocked floral, you could just go in with, another one that doesn't have the flocking on it. It doesn't bother me to have this on there. It's very subtle. So, I think we're going to add one right in the center here. And I'm going to let that just kind of flow right there. And let's get our little baby bud. I'm going to take the leaf off. I don't like the leaf on that one. And I think I want this guy kind of coming up next to our antler. Yes, like that. Like it. All right. Let's cut up another one. I brought 3. So let's see, I'm not sure we'll use all 3. Probably. I don't typically like to work in even numbers. Just depends on the design. Okay, now I'm going to go opposite of this one, a little lower. Right down there. So it's going to kind of hug down at the bottom there. I think this is pretty already. Okay, and this one, so we have this one climbing the antler. We're going to have this one kind of coming underneath the antler. So I'm going to go underneath the antler. Let me cut that leaf off. Not a fan of that one. There we go. Okay, so that's what we have so far. They're pretty already. All right, let's get our third one. I'm ready to start working more on Christmas designs. I know not everybody is. It's a little early, but for some reason, I do not know why. I'm struggling with getting into the fall and Halloween vibe this year. Like, normally by now I would have a ton already made up. And I've only done a few, and I'm struggling. I don't really know why I can't get into the fall or Halloween vibe, but I just want to skip straight to Christmas. Isn't that just all right? Don't know what's going on with me. I have to get it together. I've got to get some stuff made, so we'll have some more. I guess maybe as some of our stuff starts coming in, more of our fall and Halloween stuff starts coming in, then I'll get into the groove. But I don't have a whole lot left here from last year, and so I'm just struggling on putting it together. All right, so I just kind of tucked that one right there. So we've got a little bit of a triangle pattern. Now I've got one more little bud. All right, so we've got our main florals added. I got these little bits of red. So let's get these added. I've only got 3 little pieces. So we don't have any more of these. If you're going to make something similar to this, just find a red flower. It can be a red rose. It can be a red peony. Anything red. And we're just going to tuck these in here. It can be a little poinsettia, like whatever you want to use. So I'm going to go underneath. Underneath with that one. Come down in the center with that one. I've got one more piece. Let's kind of put it low in the back. Okay, so I have my little red bits added. Beautiful. All right, now I'm going to add a couple of our little lotus pods. Now, this is optional. You don't have to. It's not very Christmassy per se, but it's rustic, sort of. So that is why I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of these added. Just because it adds a fun little rustic element to the design. But again, this is optional. So let me see where I want to get them added. Okay, let's probably add one more. Let me see. I think I'm going to put this one up by the antler over here. I need to put a pick on this one. So y'all let me know in the comments. Have you started Christmas in July yet? I know not everybody does, but y'all let me know if you are. Alright, so I've got my pots. I'm not going to add any more. Now I have, before we add in filler greenery, I did bring a couple of berries. And I brought in this little berry pinecone pick. It has just a little bit of white on the berries. But it's not really frosty. Almost more of a paint. It's not my favorite, but it will work for this design. So we're just going to add just a couple. And I like the little pinecone pieces that's in this bush. So we're going to use the little pinecone pieces here. Okay, let me get some berry. We're not going to put too many of the berries, but just a couple, just to bring a little bit more of that red out. But that's optional. You just want to leave it without the red. You could just do a white and green and the browns from the antlers. You could bring in some other rustic elements, maybe some feathers. There's so many options. So many options. I'm just using what I have. We don't have a lot of our Christmas stuff in yet. So these are items that I did have in the shop. So that's what I'm using. As we start getting more of our product in that I ordered, you know, this design might change, or I might make another one very similar but with different elements. So just using up what I have right now. Okay, let's see. I have another little pinecone piece right here, so let's grab it. This that was part of this bush. So I'm going to go over on the side over here with it. I picked it. It needs to stay on now. So just bring in some different little textures. All right, let's add a berry on this side. And I think that's probably going to be it on the berries, but let me look. I don't want too many, just a few. Yeah. So we're going to put the rest of these berries up. We'll save it for another project. Now we're going to start filling in and defining our shape better. Where we look a little wonky, we're going to start filling it in. So I'm pulling off this. It's either cedar or cypress, y'all. I can't remember. But I'll have it listed down in the description for you, all the supplies, and they will be tagged in the video because I've got the little SKU number. It just doesn't have a name on it, so I'll make sure I put that in there for you guys. All right, so now we're going to start filling in. Now let's move on to our juniper, and then we will be wrapping this one up. Piece at the very down towards the bottom here. Let me look. Let's see. I think we need a couple pieces in the corner here. I'm just taking, when I cut them up, they come, you get little pieces. I'm just going to put them on a pick. Just clumping a couple of them together. I'm going towards the bottom, trying to fill that out a little bit. I need a piece underneath here. I'm going to kind of help hold our greenery up and fill in a hole there. So I'm just going to cut this piece here. Much better. Now I don't have that piece of cypress or cedar or whatever it is just flopping. Okay, let's get another piece. This is a little chunkier piece. Let me see if I want to pull it apart. I think I want to pull it apart. I'm just working around the bottom. We may add one more piece to the center. And I may go get a couple more pine cones and kind of tuck in here. Okay, now I'm going to go in with a couple of more pine cones. So let me see where I want to get them added. We're just going to make our own little pick with these. So, let's see. Just going to get some binding wire here. Now, I know we do have some pine cone picks coming. They're just not here yet, so I'm just using some pine cones that I have, and I'm going to make my own pick. I'm just taking some binding wire, twisting it around the bottom of that pine cone. And then I'm going to cut. I'm going to kind of double it up right here, maybe triple it up, so that it can go in my pick machine a little bit better. You can wrap them around wooden picks, if you have wooden picks, but now I just created my own little pine cone pick. you wrap them around the wooden picks, you'll get a little bit stronger, which I'll probably do on maybe on the center one. But this one's going to be more towards the bottom, so it's kind of going to be hugging down there, so that's perfect. Let's go ahead and get one. I'll show you on a wooden pick. That way we can have one more towards the center of our design. Okay, so I'm going to go and wrap this binding wire through our pine cone here. And I'm going to take a little wooden pick. And just wrap that around there really good. Okay, take the little copper wire that comes with it and just wrap it around there. Not all of the picks have copper wire on them, but this one does. Alright. I'm just going to tighten that up in there. Perfect. Add some glue. I'm going to stick my finger right in it, so don't do that. And I'm going to get this right down in there. Just to give us another little pine cone element. And these ones have a little bit of the snow on them, so it kind of ties in with our little frosted peonies. These ones don't have snow. It's a mix. If you want to keep it all non-snowy, you can. I don't usually let it bother me, so. You know, in the natural, sometimes you get the snow and then the snow melts and you got some stuff with snow and some stuff without snow, and so I don't let it bother me. I'm going to get another one on a pick. Okay, I think we're doing pretty good. I don't know if I want to add any more. Got several in there. Maybe one more back here. Maybe I can do a long one. So what a fun, cute, yet sort of sophisticated, rustic, winter holiday design. That's a mouthful, right? But I think it turned out beautifully. Okay, y'all. Here is our beautiful, rustic, Christmas winter design. I think it turned out beautifully. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to our channel, we would love to have you subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and you'll be notified every time we have new tutorials. And if you're interested in our private design group, we do have that open. There is a link down in the description, or you can just go to tctcrafts.vip and get more information there. So until next time, bye y'all.